the water cells that we have are resonating in the bioatmosphere that we live in this I would call magical magnetic illusion where our spirits roam freely.
Welcome to the Mark Attwood Show Adventures in a Cosmic Suit. How are you? You doing well? Tuesday the 25th of March. Last night, weird spinning vortex in the sky, seen all over the UK. What was that? SpaceX? I don't think so. What do you think? And we've got the pyramid stuff going on. 2 kilometers down. Halls of Amenti. What are they? Well, I think it's all disclosure being done in a beautiful way, which is actually working because it's getting people talking about this stuff. And people go, no. Have you seen that stuff about Bob Geldof recently on X today? I reposted it, going on about how he would destroy those scumbags, Trump and Musk. Destroy them. Give me the fucking money. Live Aid was a scam. Band-Aid was a scam. Comic Relief is a scam. The Red Cross is a scam. They're all scams. They're all designed to hide human trafficking, adrenochrome harvesting, the takeover and control of countries via the fraudulent banking system. That's why we make shows like this, because as I was saying to my friend Sean, by the way, Sean Simon is a client of Live 5D Health. He had a terminal diagnosis about 15 months ago of bone cancer. And if you haven't seen the fact that we're doing a live talk with him, Sean has had an amazing turnaround in health, mainly down to a lot of things, because it's not just one thing that can do this. He's been in the hyperbaric oxygen chambers. He's been in the red light therapy. He's been in the pulsed electromagnetic field therapy devices. He's had a distiller and a hydrogen machine and a vortex machine installed at his house. He's doing amazing things. But one of the things that he taught me, he was a 17-year veteran leading man in the West End 50 years ago. At the age of 20, he was a leading man in the West End for years. He's an amazing singer, performer, great storyteller. And he also owns the island here in Boyle in Roscommon, the castle in the island, the only island with no strategic significance that had an entire army come to take it. King John I. So much stuff there. I actually made a little film about the island yesterday because to do with Aleister Crowley, W.B. Yeats, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, all that stuff that you won't read in the tourist information, because any regular viewer to my show will know that I've talked about this island for years now. So actually yesterday we went there, performed the ceremony. I'm looking forward to putting that together and showing that to you soon. But anyway, through the process of getting to know Sean, Sean has been telling me about his breathing techniques, because when you work in theatre, you do learn breathing techniques, but he's learned loads of these over the years, and they've really dramatically helped him. And, you know, as a real life man, as a man who relies upon his lungs for his living for most of his life. So he's going to teach those in person in Boyle on the 6th of April. If you want to come to Boyle in Roscommon in Ireland and meet all of us, Live 5D crew will be there. It's an afternoon, a Sunday afternoon. You can come, but if you can't make it, we're getting Kieran to come down and film the whole thing, and you can get the video. I'll leave the link below this video if you want to come to that event. And there's also a video there of myself and Gary looking at Sean's water, the state of the water in his house, and how he, you know, truly realized how bad and how poisonous the tap water is, especially in Ireland, but worldwide. Anywhere there's a government-controlled water system, you've got a major problem, because water is the best place to deliver poisons to people and populations. If you go back and look at the interview I did with Dr. Brian Ardis back in December, not only did he tell us about how nicotine is a nutrient that actually helps get rid of the things in the poison clot shots and dismantles nanobots and does loads of really good stuff for you. He also explained how all the symptoms of COVID-19 totally matched the same symptoms you would get if you consumed snake poison. And yeah, what's the best way of delivering snake poison? Through the water system. So that's going to be an interesting talk, and I hope you can come down to that. If not, buy the video, and we'll send it to you as soon as we've finished editing it, which won't take long because we're just going to record the whole talk, and then we're going to go to the pub for a few drinks afterwards and a bit of pizza if you're up for that. What else can I tell you? We've just released the 5-day retreats for Live 5D Health. We've got 5 of those now running. The first 10-day retreat sold out. Now we're running retreats in July, August, September, October, November this year. So just for that, go to the Live 5D Health website and click on the retreats link. I'll just share that with you so that you can see exactly how to do that. Give me 1 second. I am talking a little bit like a TV presenter right now, aren't I? Yeah, so live5dhealth.com, click on retreats, and there's an email waiting list there. Just fill that in and you'll be sent details if you're interested in coming on one of our amazing retreats, which is really good because it's going to be cumulative. What we've seen with the people that have had the most chronic conditions is that cumulative application of hyperbaric oxygen, red light, PEMF, good water, etc., is really, really powerful for anybody's health. But also, I did a video a few months ago. Now, hopefully you guys by now know that if I recommend stuff, it's usually because I've tested it and tried it myself. Now, in this case, these little things here. Look, I'm shaking my balls for you. Don't do that for everybody. Ho, ho. These balls are incredible. And myself and Gary have been using them since, must be 5 months now, personally. And we've been selling them to people, members of our club at Live 5D Health. And we're now here to talk about them today. But before I bring on my guests today who know more about them than I do, I've experienced them, but they've got all the technical information and they're going to share that with us. I wanted to make sure that you had seen the fact that in our healing center, we took these balls and we took the powder that the balls are made from and we mixed it with paint, and then we put them into the actual walls of the healing center. I'm just going to go on to the... Right, I've come in to grab Sinead. So this is a video I made 2 months ago, which is just to give you a bit of an insight into what we've done with these balls in the healing center. Justine, because we've just put this somated powder into the paint in the walls in the spa, and we've just felt it as soon as you walk in. So I want to film you going in and see if you feel it.
I didn't go there.
That's okay. Right, you ready? Come on.
I'll talk about it as well.
Go on then, let's go in. Hang on, let me film you while you're going. So what I want you to do is walk in and then walk towards the far corner and tell me what you feel. Yeah.
You see the color on the wall and above it.
Slightly yellow on this wall and this wall.
So the color differential is just because we added the quantum of powder.
Sinead's getting it. I know, I'm feeling it as well. It's right in my legs.
Yeah, does it get chill?
Can you feel it?
Yeah.
Come over here. Come over here.
Can you feel it?
Look at the hair that's up on your head.
Oh my God. Can you feel it? Woo! That's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, it's buzzing. Wow.
So there's life force energy there in the paint.
Yeah,
In the walls.
yeah.
That is amazing. And we're the first people to do this in Ireland, at least, aren't we?
I mean, like, in the world, I would imagine it has
A handful of places.
Yeah, it's really groundbreaking.
This is groundbreaking stuff.
Amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What are you getting?
It's just the energy.
See how everybody's smiling as well?
Yeah.
Have you noticed?
Yeah. It's
Ooh. This is going to be the best spa in the world.
wow.
That's
You can feel it. It's just like,
yeah, and so it's also doing stuff, as in breaking up the Wi-Fi and 5G and any harmful signals and microwaves. It's blocking, shielding, and
Oh man, this is it's going through me like waves.
You're going to be sitting in the sauna and steam room here, and this is always here now.
Yeah, yeah.
So completely emanating and clearing and cleansing everybody. So it's wild.
Worth the wait, worth
Remember,
the money.
you've also got all the paint that's been in the hologram of the sound.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's really
just explain that, if somebody might not have seen it. So
we have the Mekau sound system, which is a sound hologram, which all the paint and all the materials that have been put in here have literally sat in a hologram for between 24 and 48 hours, programmed with just natural sound, natural frequency.
Yeah, this place is buzzing.
So that's going to emanate that, always. Yeah, and Sinead's super sensitive, so she's really getting a strong.
yeah.
Yeah, as soon as you walk in.
It's like kind of.
Woohoo!
So you're getting a feeling for the vibe of this stuff, and literally, if I don't have this on me, I feel it. The same as a lower 7. I'm going to do another show about a lower 7 soon, because that's what we call the Rolls Royce of electrolytes. But just you've got clean distilled water. You've brought it to life with hydrogen and a vortex and magnets and copper, which is what we've got in the center. Every member gets free water for life. But then we put it into this, and then these, I call them ChiBalls, and they release chi energy into the water, and it creates easy water, which is H3O2. But what do I know? Let's get some experts on from the Netherlands, where they have the good change. Please welcome Hans and Pieter. How are we doing, guys?
Hi, Mark. Hi, Mark. We're doing fine.
Yeah, I said I'd be 5 minutes. I was 11. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. It's a good introduction to your program. So.
Well, you're used to waiting for me, aren't you?
Definitely. No, we're all excited to see you finally working.
Yeah, I won't say that personally.
No.
Guys, the way this works is, I love the way Hans puts this, is that water has a consciousness, and then when you work with the water, amazing things happen. That's what we've experienced with our place, and through the process of doing what we've been doing, I came across you, started talking to you about structured water, realized that you were crazy as we are, and believed in fairies and all that kind of stuff, and UFOs, etc. But water is our connection, and I know that you've got a business over in Holland and have a long journey. I'd like you to sort of tell the viewers, if you don't mind, how did you get to the point where you understood because I don't think any of us were born with this knowledge. You've had a journey to get to this point where you're now working full-time with water. Let's start there. What about you guys?
Do you want me to go first? You can go first. All right. Well, it's with me, it started with suffering, really. I call it spirit these days, but we lost our first child after a week, and that was my first lesson in what is important in life: joy, health of me and my family, which basically for me is now the entire universe. Cut a long story short, I had 3 of these very, very nasty lessons. I'm very grateful for it now. I'm actually grateful for having lost my first child, but it led me to start listening to my heart, and eventually I became aware that I had to work with water, and that's a long story short. I think I've known Peter for 30 years. We're both golf players.
A little bit longer.
Maybe even longer.
You don't look old enough.
True. We live here in the middle of Holland, amidst all the rich people, and they all play golf, and we really wonder sometimes why the hell are we here, but we need to do work here as well. And what it all came down to is that we realized that we should work together, and the thing that binds us is water. I mean, all life is water. For me, water is alive. We are very much linked to Victor Schauberger, a forester, late 1800s born,
And he actually obtained all his knowledge through water. He actually connected his consciousness with water. We use his motto, comprehend and copy Mother Nature. That's what Dragonfly, in essence, does, is that we try to balance the sacred waters of Mother Earth and using natural technologies, using the vortex, using technologies primarily that don't use electricity, don't use chemicals, and don't need maintenance. I mean, literally, there's no business model in it. You sell it once and then it's done. And that's the same for QELBY. Actually, that's the same for QELBY. So that's a long story short. And actually, we've evolved from going from selling water vitalizers, tools that change water, to sound. The holographic sound system that you mentioned, that is one of our things that we do. Biofrequency. So all these things actually change your water, because in essence everything's water. So we've evolved to what we call a space healing concept, where we try to use technologies and products that create living and working environments that keep healthy people healthy and make ill people healthy again. That's the essence of what Dragonfly does, as far as I'm concerned. But maybe Peter's got a different idea. I don't know.
Well, not yet. Thank you for being short.
He's not. He's 6'4".
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the short one in this chat.
Yeah, no. Well, finally, he uses words that extend what we do. But now my story is not similar. But I used to be a very sensitive kid, being ignored because I did see a lot of things spiritually. I saw all the ghosts and elves and auras of people, and making me a special kid. And I only realized that about 8-9 years ago, that I was really a special kid. And being 61 now, and recently turned father for the 3rd time, being extremely proud of that. But that's the essence of life. The life is to experience it, to see it, to feel it. And the one thing you do that is indeed, we are 98% water. Obviously not all the water that we drink, but the water cells that we have are resonating in the bioatmosphere that we live in this I would call magical magnetic illusion, where our spirits roam freely. And actually this morning I asked my girlfriend, where does your spirit live? And I was actually thinking about that the whole day, to find out, where does my spirit live? And if we are all connected, then it should be one big party up there, or somewhere where all these spirits are. So yes, I'm very happy to connect with you guys, because you are as crazy as we are. Our backgrounds are more like corporate, trying to make to become a millionaire before you're 25, and then finding out that doesn't hold any value. And along the road, you get the scars, you get the information, and you were saying, well, you're not born with all the information. I think you are born with it, with the capability to find out anything that you want to know. The library that the human spirit, but the human capacity has access to is limitless. You can find out any information that you need that's been ever developed or experienced by people on Earth. You can find it, and it just takes some meditation classes or lessons to really ask the right question. And if you ask the right question, you already get the answers.
Who am I? Oh, sorry.
You. You are in this life, Hans, and I'm Piet in this life. But going in that regression, we know each other for hundreds of years, and we intend to live in this 3D world for another 200 years. And we do that by having the faith of universe, that our spirits are always continuing, looking for experience and looking for the right way of doing things, finding truth. And truth is what you experience. You know it. You know it when you feel it. If you can't feel it, you don't know it. And we came across each other about 12 years ago, but we only started 6 years ago. And we said, okay, we have a blanco canvas. You can think of anything you want to do, be whatever you want to be. How do you want to do it? And that's a very nice way to start a business. And we
It's a bit scary, but
well, working with him is always scary.
Yeah. I've met
We
him.
came across the easy part was, okay, what do we have on this earth? We have earth, air, water, fire, and energy, ether. And you dive in all those 5 directions and you find out that water is a key element to everything that happens on earth. And so we choose water. Because if we say, what do you do? Well, we do water. And the first question is, what does water mean to you? And you can start any conversation. You can start a conversation with a business. You can start with an individual, with a sick person, with a happy person. Doesn't really matter. You talk to their water blob. And then the journey really starts and say, what can you do to influence that water blob when it is not balanced? And that actually became our IP in saying, okay, how do we rebalance, or how do we balance people, plants, animals in this 3D world? And then you need to get into the technicalities of what is water. And the simple one is obviously it's HO2. And then you go, but those are 2 gases. I mean, how can 2 gases have these fantastic 3 forms, being frozen, being steam, and being water? And they're 2 gases. I mean, how does it work? And obviously you start looking for it. And the most, encyclopedias, websites, whatever, they all say, we actually don't know. They still don't know why water is water and how can 2 gases stay together. There are obviously some predictions of what is happening. But then if you make a link or a little bridge to your body being 98% water molecules, now it becomes really interesting. And then you find out, I mean, how can we actually live? How do all these cells know what to do? And then there's only 3 elements left to really make a short story long, and to say you have 3 elements, which is energy, spirit, and environment. And that's what we are as human beings. And then you get fun stuff, because the business we started to say, we want to have fun. We're not in it for the money, we're in it for the experience. So let's hire a shop. So we hired a shop, 300 square meters, and it's our playpen. We have hundreds of books. You can sit down, you can experience, you can drink 30 different types of water. You can do whatever you like to do. You can just sit and see and talk. And second part was being transparent. And water is obviously transparent, but also transparent in doing business. And that really opened a complete different horizon, because we meet people from all over the world, from all different angles. And we don't even need to do anything, because we feel literally if people are worth talking to. And that makes life very easy.
That's actually Schauberger, where you can push, which is selling. Nobody likes a salesman because it's pushing. But Mother Nature works primarily on invitation, on pulling.
Mm-hmm.
And that's literally what we found out, is that we just open the doors and we wait for someone to come in. And then we react. And it makes life magical, because you never know what's going to come. You never know what's going to come through the door. But it's quality. I think nature is all about quality, and out of quality comes quantity. That's the. You're making a lot of noise here.
He's rattling his balls. I know.
Yeah, he's rattling his balls.
And his
Yeah.
balls
No,
break.
so yeah. So that's what we do. We just let the magic happen, and this is also one of the reasons that we don't plan our day full, because if you plan your day full, there's no more room for something to actually come in.
Well, that's what happens with me. I try to plan shows, and they just keep disappearing, and I have to go with the flow.
Yeah,
you just have to, and it's great. Surrender.
Yes.
I'm gonna. I just want to pull you up on one thing there. A couple of things actually. Firstly,
thanks.
This figure of 98% is not what's taught to people.
No.
What's taught, what Google says, and what people hear is 70%.
Right.
Around that area. Let's clarify that for people, because I think that's a really important.
Yeah.
That's done on purpose, and you know, and when I said we're not born with this information, I mean we're not told this information, and the reason I bring that up is because however much I go on about water, people are just still, unless they really truly, unfortunately, they truly experience how bad the publicly provided water is when they realize it too late. You know, they've already had this accumulated poison.
It's even sad. I mean,
hang on. He just needs to put his white coat on now. He's not going to taste something technically. Okay.
No, I won't actually. Well, actually, I was just going to say that in Holland we're actually being told that we have great water. I mean, your water really. I mean, there's so much chlorine in there; it's horrible. But in Holland, we don't have that, and we're being told that it's great water, whereas it isn't. But coming back to your question, yeah, 70% is your body weight in water. And this is what, and it's true. It's roughly 70. When you get older, it is probably a little bit less. But our water cells are much lighter than our bone cells, for instance. So you actually are. The figures change a little bit. Some people say 97. Some people even say 99%. But you are literally a walking water blob. You are just water. And yes, I do believe that they're giving you the wrong figure for a reason. Yeah, I absolutely agree. And this is where it actually gets very interesting. If you look at the work of Emoto or even Schauberger, Vida Austin, all these scientists that in their way show that water reacts to what we say, what we think, and what it sees. And then it becomes really interesting linking that to your health, where you literally, if you tell yourself I'm getting a flu, then you're telling your water we are becoming ill. Mm-hmm. And then the water says, okay, we'll just get the flu. So it's much advised to actually say I am perfectly fit when you feel a flu coming up. And then your cells will say, okay, well then your water literally says, okay, we're fit.
Well, this is the basis. There's a guy that I'm going to be interviewing on the show soon. Who wrote a book called "Terminal Cancer is a Misdiagnosis," and and I talked about Sean Simon at the start of the show, who got given a terminal diagnosis and almost died from the diagnosis.
Yes,
and that was his lesson. He's worked that out himself. The diagnosis is the thing, because if you give somebody 3 months to live, they will literally die 3 months later.
Absolutely,
very often.
Yeah, no, it's literally. They say placebo works. I mean, everybody knows placebo works, but that means that nocebo also works. Which means, I mean, if you watch people and they go like, "Oh, I feel I am getting a flu," that's a nocebo. You're actually telling your body that something negative will happen, and your body will react to it. It's just the mind is so powerful. And your water will take on any vibes that you actually put out with your mind, or that other people. I mean, if you trust a doctor, and the doctor says you only have 3 months to live,
it's terrible.
It is horrible, actually.
It's similar to the work of Bruce Lipton, epigenetics, where he says, well, we all obviously have DNA, and the role of DNA is, well, that's a different discussion, but if you say I have a cancer because it runs in my family, it's typically that part is actually not true. But your environment and the way you've been programmed and the way you've been taught that you have a bad family illness running actually copies that in your behavior, and that is the non-placebo effect, where you think, well, my grandmother had so and so and so, and now I have it, because the whole family was talking about it for as long as you know. And I'm very hopeful that by even these programs and talking about it, that people start to unravel and see what's actually going on. Is that it is mind over matter, and the matter is you're being diseased or being disbalanced or being thrown off by something that's not inside of you. And the second part is that your body is programmed not to hurt itself. And that's something that people need to start re-believing again. And that is the magic where you start healing. As soon as you understand that your body is not doing anything to harm you, it's actually working flipping hard to keep you healthy and to keep you going. And it's amazing what they throw at us. I mean, talking about quality of water, but even in food and et cetera, it's amazing how the body still sort of functions. But yeah, we can also see all the damage that we see around us, from diabetics, from kids being obese, from people being chronically sick, keeping themselves sick because they think they get treatments that actually not work. They just suppress, or they don't even take care of the symptoms anymore. They just keep on throwing drugs in and telling people that it will work. And talking about cancer, I mean, cancer was invented 70 years ago, I think, as an illness. And
more than that, I think, more.
Yeah, so they developed that illness by listing all these different types of cancers, which is amazing. All of a sudden, we have these categories of cancers. And then, after all this money that's been spent on it and all the research that's been done, etc., they can't come up with a proper treatment, not even listening to patients why they got a diagnostic of cancer, because they only look at the reaction of the body on cancers. They don't actually see what happened, how you get cancer. Mm-hmm. But if a body is sick, then 98% of your water molecules is sick. And for a healthy cell to operate, you need electricity. Yeah, it's as simple as that. And electricity.
I'm just putting on your white coat now. I'm just putting on this white coat.
And electricity is in water. It's measured as pH. So pH is
potential of hydrogen.
Yeah.
And you can measure it. Where's our little dildo here? This pH meter.
Yeah, you can literally measure it. So that's nice.
So good water should be anything between 6.5 and 7.5.
Even 8.
And even 8. Being alkaline. And alkaline, well, there's been many research that if an alkaline body is in balance, it will never get sick. However, I think that 90.9% of everybody that walks the earth at the moment is sick, because we are bombarded with radiation, with bad food, etc., etc. So there is no 100% health anymore.
Are you spiritually protected? Are you wearing the armor of God? Are you prepared against the principalities of darkness that currently wreak havoc in our world? Spiritual warfare is a very real thing. Weapons of Mass Protection is the explosive and practical 5-star best-selling book from authors Abby Wynn and Mark Attwood, who both agree that humanity is in the midst of the biggest spiritual awakening in human history. If you feel like things ain't what they seem, if you feel you are under attack, get your weapons ready now. Weapons of Mass Protection. Practical tools for spiritual warfare, out now.
The good part is you can balance your waters.
Exactly.
Well, I was going to say, you know, there's going to be people in the comments going, "Oh, actually, it's been disproven about alkaline water and blah blah blah." But I'm not here to argue with them. It's been well proven.
I don't mind.
Cancers cannot exist in an alkaline environment, and often the things that make you alkaline are the opposite of what you think they are, like lemons, for example. So we are, you know, and my journey has been one of I knew the water was bad. I've known for a long time. And when I first moved to Ireland 10 years ago, I got a whole house reverse osmosis filter, but I didn't understand living water then fully. I had an idea, but I didn't fully grasp it. My consciousness hadn't grasped it. And you mentioned earlier a number of people. I just want to make sure that people watching this are familiar with all these people, because you mentioned Schauberger, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a minute, because I think he's extremely important. Most of my viewers will have heard of and know about Emoto. That's your Emoto. I think most, you know, a lot of us who've woken up over the years found this work profound over, you know, maybe in my case about 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, and it still is profound.
It is. And so we're not going to go into too much about Emoto, but for the viewers, if you don't know about Emoto, just go and type in Emoto, EMOTO, water experiment, something like that, and go and watch some videos. And once you understand that the water carries the energy that's given to it, it's programmable. That's you know, part of your journey to waking up. The other one you mentioned was Vader Austin, who's alive and with us and doing great work. And she just explain Vader's work to people if they've not heard of it, sum it up for them.
Yeah, it's really cool. Actually, just a little piece on Emoto, which was mind blowing for me. One of the things that he showed, that if you let water listen to hard rock, you will get very, very ugly crystals when you freeze it.
Yeah.
And you get beautiful crystals if you.
That's why it's called hard rock.
Yeah, but this is the interesting thing is, as I have a son with Down syndrome, and I mean, with everything I knew about water, he loves the most dirtiest hard rock you will ever, you know, raw. So there it was as a parent, and it's also Down syndrome. So what do you do? And it was only later that I learned that actually what Emoto found later in his work is that if you love hard rock, if you love it, truly love it, then you will get beautiful crystals. So that was a very important lesson, that if you give something love and respect, no matter what it is, even if it's an official poison, it will still alter, because you give it love and respect. And it was one of the ways that it showed. So Vida Austin, sorry.
No, I was going to say that's alchemy. We all have the ability for it. So with Emoto's experiments, it was like a 1-to-1 scenario just to prove a point. But a lot of people watching my show will be, again, in the comments, they'll be saying, well, I can alchemize anything by intention, powering the water and powering the food. And my amusement over the years is the number of people I've met who do this, but are not in good shape, or you know, are not well. And it's like,
That's a different journey.
Well, no, for me, I don't know what you guys think, but for me, it's a little, because everything you're talking about with the water and intentions and stuff is, and the self, you know, fulfilling prophecy of accepting the diagnosis and then creating that is really about manifesting. Yeah. And it's and as you said, Hans, if you believe the doctor, then you're going to believe what you're manifesting. It's the same as if you believe the opposite, nocebo versus placebo.
Mind over matter.
Yeah. So, you know, I used to teach the law of attraction way before COVID, and it was hilarious for me because people would sit and listen and and they go away and they'd have a picture of a Ferrari on their wall and then a picture of a Rolex watch and all this.
We've all done it.
6 months, yeah. 6 months later, they'll say, "Oh, it's a load of bullshit. The law of attraction don't work." And I'm like, "Well, it's because you didn't believe it."
right. You know,
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like the same with the people who go,
Yeah.
I'm putting intention. But they don't fully believe it. And then
Absolutely.
what you then get, and this relates to what Peter said about the purity of water. Right? I mean, what I said at the beginning. This is a fantastic place to hide things because it's transparent.
Yeah.
When you were talking about the transparency. So one of the things I think the viewers of my show and myself will be like, yeah, well, this is great, and people like you, we're watching you now, and you're talking about brilliant people like Emoto and Vader Austin and other people. Is that you've got a load of people out there teaching stuff that is full of shit because they haven't actually proven it, experienced it, or anything. They're just doing it because they're making a bit of money out of. Yeah, the same with the law.
Book readers.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's the same as the law. The people who teach the law of attraction. You know, the first law of attraction book in the 20th century was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. But the same guy that commissioned the Flexner Report that in 1910 commissioned that book, Andrew Carnegie, and Carnegie told Napoleon Hill, take those chapters out because I don't want them to know everything. So it's always for me like the Council of Nicaea taking all the books out of the library. It's a limited hangout, and then the cabal plow millions into having misinformation people telling 90% of the story, but missing this piece out.
Well, this really comes back to where is your truth, and it's always funny how people, even that are consciously, somewhere where you go, okay, they're definitely no longer sleeping, then, and they ask outside of them, what should I do? And you're like, have you not figured it out yet? The truth, your truth, is inside of you.
Yeah.
You don't need anything, and all these products that we're talking about. Ultimately, you don't need them. You really don't.
No, we are the med beds. So I've been saying that for a long time. And I should have realized this before we recorded this show, that us three would easily go to 2 hours going into. And I want to do. I already decided while you were talking, we're going to have to do another show and go deeper into some of these things.
Yeah.
And I'd love it if we did that soon. But in the meantime, I'd like you to just. I know that you two talk a lot about. How do you say his name? Victor Schauberger.
Yeah.
Just give me a bite size for anybody watching that has not heard of him, because I think he's fundamental to a lot of this, isn't he?
He's extremely fundamental for. He was born late 1800s. He was from a forestry family, so all his brothers were foresters. His father was a forester, and he didn't want to go to school because he saw his two elder brothers go to school, and he said to his father, sorry, they've gone to school and they've completely been indoctrinated. I'm not going to go to school. So he actually went to become a forester at a very young age. He was very lucky. There was a very large, this is Austria, very large area from a prince, I don't know the name, and he started working as a forester. So he spent loads and loads of time being in Mother Nature, and he had this knack of being able to observe nature as no other person that I know of was actually capable of. To cut a long story short, one day he crosses a stream. He's high up in the mountains, and he scares a few trout that are laying there still. It puzzled him. He had all the time in the world. He sat down and he watched the trout coming back, and he had 3 questions. He actually had 4 questions. I always forget the 4th one. And the first one was, these trout are lying in the midst of the fastest part of the stream. I can't even hold my walking stick there. And they don't do anything. They don't move physically. They only open their gills and they open their mouths. And that's it. How does that work? And the second question was, if I scare them, then they shoot like lightning. They shoot upstream. They don't go downstream. What is that about? And the third question was, whoa, how do they get here? Because there was a waterfall 60 meters high, that like a couple 100 yards before that, and it actually turned into mist midway. So how do these trout get here? So those 3 questions brought him to understanding that what we know about nature, we only look at the physical part of nature, first of all. We only look at the matter side. Science does that as well. Whereas 97, 96% is what we now call dark energy, dark matter, and it's totally ignored. And he came to the realization that how do trout actually get up to a waterfall? How do they get up there? And if we really think, I mean, we never think about these things. We see them jumping, and you got to, how do they, against the falling water and gravity, how do they get up that water? They can't swim. There's no way that they can do that. They're literally being sucked upwards. They're being pulled by an unknown force. Even we can't even stand. How can we stand if there's only gravity? So there's an opposing force, which is the life force, which is the chi, which is all, that put him to the knowledge that there's two basic motions in Mother Nature. One, to regenerate life, which is the inside to outside vortex, which is the explosion. That goes together with sound, you hear it, and heat. And literally, you can see it happening in a log. If you put it into a fire, that's what Mother Nature uses to regenerate matter into higher energy. And then later, that higher energy can then be used to create matter, to bring forth life. Interestingly, all our energy stuff is all done with explosion. It's all done with that motion. But Mother Nature uses the implosion, the outside to in vortex, to bring forth life and to ennoble life. Our blood flows in little vortices, in little implosions. The sap in trees, the sap in plants. So everything that Mother Nature uses to build up life is the implosion. And this is totally, I mean, he apparently, Schauberger used to work for, had to work for Hitler, and he was working on implosion engines, which are far more efficient, and they are silent. They create coolness, and they go from order to, from chaos to order. So it all makes perfect sense. And that's the reason why water, if you let it flow, it'll go into a vortex. It will implode, and you also have to go inside for your knowledge. So that's actually mostly Schauberger who recognized this, and a lot of the vitalizers, the water vitalizers, are using this principle. And even if you look at the seas, I mean, the Mediterranean Sea, I mean, it should have been black by now with all the crap that goes in. But because water has this self-cleaning capability, the vortices, it cleans itself. That's literally, so all you need to do is to force water to actually do that. And with the implosion, there's another, the explosion is associated with pressure, which is why we don't like salesmen. And the implosion is the opposite, is attraction, is actually on invitation. And this is why it's so incredibly important to go into a room where you don't know anybody, and you just stand somewhere in the corner. You wait for someone to come to you. That's the person you need to talk to. It's invitation.
Precisely. As you're talking there, before, look, I'm aware that the viewers have spent 45 minutes waiting for me to explain these.
Well, see, we're not in the actual business of selling stuff. So.
No, I know. But the thing is, I've been asked lots and lots of times to make a video about these. So I'm going to deliver, and we've got about 15 minutes. But just before we go into explaining these, I'll just explain to you guys watching. I'll be putting links below this video where you can get more. You can find out where to get these. You can find out more information. But I just, based upon what Hans just said, I'm just going to show you a little thing, because another thing that has come out of our relationship, apart from putting the powder into the paint and creating the chi energy in the center, which is massive, and consuming this ourselves, which is also massive, I just want to show everybody briefly this. This is on the Live 5D Health YouTube channel, and that's a picture of me pointing to this device, which does exactly what Hans just said.
Yeah,
basically. Yep. And we've got we installed this into the healing center in Ireland because we wanted to make sure that anybody that came in had the best possible water that we could create. And I have to say that, you know, when people come in and drink the water, they're like, "Oh my God, it's a completely different experience."
And I have tasted your water before that. So,
And it wasn't Guinness. So.
No. So we could do a whole show on putting alcohol through Spirolite. We're not going to do that today.
No, that's a different story.
I
But,
think there's something to be said there. But let's talk about.
well,
these.
we call this episode 1 then, and maybe
Yes, I think we will.
episode 2, 3, and 4, and whatever.
all right, you want to talk about this?
We
All
talk
right.
about our ChiBalls.
Okay.
Yeah, well, no. See, let's just explain because Hans said at the beginning, QELBY. He calls them QELBY, but when these guys came to boil in Roscommon,
It's Korean,
I called them ChiBalls, and that's kind of sticking. So I win the marketing competition.
No, you definitely do. But this
all
is
credits to you.
this is a Korean invention, and
Yeah.
the name quantum energy living bodies QELBY was already there. So my very first reaction was indeed for like, that's not a nice name. But actually, we stuck with it. What it is they are. It's a Korean invention, and they are ceramic bowls, and this is a true natural technology. That means you buy them once, they will outlive you because they will still be working whilst we are no longer there in physical
water
phase. They will still be working. What they do is that they are filled with somatids, and somatids is a term that's used by Professor Geysens. Willem Reich called them bions. I think Béchat called them microsomas. It's the little white dots that you look at when you are looking at blood under a dark field microscope. And those little white dots move. And this is, to me, that is the life force. The more you have of those little suckers, the livelier you are, the healthier you are. And the beauty of these bowls is that you put them into water, and due to the somatids, they start creating H3O2. And that's a scientist, actually, we haven't even mentioned yet. There's a guy called Gerald Pollack. He's still living. He's a scientist. He was, I think, even president of the World Water Society. And he actually did a paper on QELBY specifically. And it
I
proved,
can do that too.
And it proved that it makes.
I was looking at the little bubbles.
Yeah, it makes H3O2, and H3O2 is what he calls the fourth phase of water. It's an interesting book by itself because very few people know this, but every hydrophilic surface, you get this gel-like structure within water.
Well, would you call that plasma?
Well, everything's plasma. No.
They're called the exclusion zone.
Yeah, but it's basically H3O2. It looks like, if you look at the structure, it very much looks like ice, but it is a gel. And it's H3O2. And H3O2 is a negatively charged particle. So then it becomes really interesting because if you look at healthy cells are batteries, right? I mean, a healthy cell is minus 25 millivolts if you measure. And actually, a healthy cell needs minus 50 millivolts to regenerate, to create a new cell. People don't realize how much we are constantly regenerating. Your skin regenerates within 6 weeks.
It's completely new skin. 6 weeks later.
New skin, yeah. Which is, most of the dust in your bedroom is actually skin. It's actually skin. I hope I haven't scared most of the viewers now. But
I don't think so.
The interesting thing is that because cells are so small, they are the amount of H3O2 in your body is actually in a cell 70%. It's about 70%, and then you get this link between negatively charged and a healthy cell is negatively charged. If you become ill, that negative voltage goes down, and even cancer cells are usually positively charged. So the nice thing about these bowls is, and we're really excited about it because it's a one-stop shop in the sense that you don't have to do anything with them anymore. You buy them once, put them in the water, and the pH of the water goes up, so it becomes more alkaline, and it produces H3O2, and it doubles, I think, the amount of oxygen in your water.
Yeah. That's the technical part.
Doesn't use electricity, no maintenance, and in actual fact, this bottle has been this bottle has been in our window shop for like 3 months. It's been in the sun. You'll never ever get biofilm on it, because, and this is also Schauberger, where if you have a very high energy, then Mother Nature doesn't need to send in the cleaning troop.
My daughter had to clean my bottle the other day. I've had it 6 months, and
Right.
the only reason it had to be cleaned is because I keep adding things into it. 'Cause
Right.
I'm experimenting. And she
Yeah.
said, "Oh, it's dirty." And I was asked because of the things I've been putting into it.
Right, but it doesn't form biofilm, and this is the interesting thing, and it's totally Schauberger. If you have an area of high energy, then Mother Nature doesn't need to send in the cleaning troops. So it doesn't need to send in the bad bacteria and the biofilm and the fungi. They only are there if the environment is low energy.
That's you, Peter.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, it's just both. You're the fungi. Which ones have used the fungi?
He's the antibacterial.
He's the antibacterial.
You know that Peter has all the titles, and I only have one title. So
Yeah.
Chief Water Officer, and actually the wine. Actually, I haven't been drinking wine for the past 16 days. It's amazing.
You haven't drunk wine for 16 days. Oh my god!
He's finally sober. So
Anyway, so that's that's QELBY, and the interesting thing, as you already said, you can also use it for as a powder. We've done it here where we have a sound system, and it's just it's a truly amazing technology, which we've only recently come into contact with, and it's
early days.
so easy. It's so easy. I mean, you can measure it with a pH meter. It makes perfect sense, and it works forever. So we're really excited about this.
Yeah, well, so am I. You know, we've got it here. We've loads of even people coming into the clinics now, and they're carrying these with them. And I'm like, well done, good. Keep that on you, and you just sip it all day, because you don't actually need that much. You know, there's another lie, isn't there? You need to drink. What is it?
You don't need to drink 2 liters of water a day.
No. If you drink proper water, you don't need that.
No, exactly. And that's another thing, another lie. And what I say to everybody is, whatever the government says, either do the opposite or go and research on a website.
Well, that is a Schauberger quote. I mean, Schauberger had some really, really nice quotes, and one of them was that if scientism says you go that way, you go 180 degrees that way.
Yeah.
And I must say honestly that I can't even think of one thing where he's faulty there.
No, he's 100% right.
It's similar to hydration. People think that if I drink a lot of water, I don't dehydrate. An actual fact is that you get better hydration through showering or taking a bath, and you had a different load of your water base. You only need to take a bath or a shower for 5 minutes, and then you hydrate. You don't hydrate better by drinking 4 liters of water. You're actually poisoning yourself, because your kidneys are spinning out of control because they have to deal with all this water. So
that's that word itself, hydrate. It's hydrogen.
Yeah.
It's not water. It's hydrogen.
Language is such a beautiful thing as well. Do you understand?
Well, I mean, there are going to be people watching this go, do these things appear in nature, and what are they made from, and what's the process that creates them? Yeah. You've already said that they will continue to release chi energy forever, basically. Yes. But what is the process, and can you tell us a bit about the clinic in Korea where these are putting into the hot baths and the healing properties and what that does? Because we're planning to install the same thing in Live 5D Health, and because we know, we can feel this, we see the difference. I mean, that's the thing. We've not got a machine that measures how great your water is in your body now compared to 6 months ago, but we can see it anecdotally with the people that are consuming this stuff, including ourselves.
Absolutely. This is a Korean invention by Mr. Lee. And it's what they do is they mine minerals. They have about 7 minerals, I think, which they mine, and those contain the somatids. Actually, somatids are everywhere because life is everywhere. But they have a concentration, so they make a concentrated version of this, and they put these clays, these minerals, through a baking process.
And a fermentation process.
And actually, in fact, I mean, so these somatids, after being in an oven for more than 1,000 degrees Celsius, they are still alive. They still move. You can see that under a microscope, which says something already. And even if you put them in hydrochloric acid, they will still be there. So
by that principle, cockroaches might be made of somatids.
Yes,
absolutely,
definitely. Organic.
I've always actually, I was thinking about it yesterday.
The cockroaches.
No, so the nice thing is that this actually was a company, a big company, and they were already selling QELBY, which is why the name is still there. But Mr. Lee is a chi master, and his partners were, I think, fully into profit. So they were already listed on the stock market in the US, and then he pulled back. And so he got into a huge fight. So this is actually not a new technology, but the company went bust. And we just happened to run into Michel Aerts, who, together with Luc, who made Morphogenic, and Michel obtained the global rights from Mr. Lee. They have a health center in Korea where they have these baths that are filled with like up to 150 kilograms of these bowls. They use 4mm bowls, slightly smaller than the ones that use for drinking. And it's amazing. We have the patient testimonials, literally people with leukemia. Yeah. You go into the bath. I mean, there they go into the bath, I think, twice per day. But it's, this is truly for chronically ill people. Yeah. And they have testimonials of people. A guy with leukemia. I mean, his face was incredibly scarred, and 6 months later, he walked out a healthy man. So it's a very powerful healing method. But you do need to put it into a bath. It's typically something for health centers, and we love the fact that you guys are actually going to be the first again. You're going to be the first in Ireland to and UK probably. So,
well, no, that's what's exciting, and these things here. I'm gonna put a link below here where people can get these themselves. When I met these guys, I was like, can we make them cheaper? But then when you think about these are last for a lifetime, it's nothing. But I mean, I still live in a world where I'm still explaining to people, please don't drink or bathe in your tap water. So this is like a few levels on from that, but this is like life-changing stuff. And like I said,
it's a constant refill. Huh?
Yeah.
No, they actually also make, I mean, for home use, because it's not very practical to fill your bath with 150 kilograms of these bowls. But there's a sort of a middle thing where they make these sort of mattresses or sort of blankets which contain these bowls, which you can use in your bath at home. So and actually, somatids do get excited more apparently with heat
in hot water. Yeah.
Yeah. So
well, I want to get a steel cage and put it into my boiler.
Yeah.
With the balls.
No, you can use. This is where you can use it everywhere. You can use it after a reverse osmosis system. You can put it into your aquarium because it'll help
the fish.
It'll help the fish, but it also will help with the algae that probably will not show up. I mean, it's very early days for us as well. I mean, we've only encountered them 3-4 months ago. So. But the possibilities are humongous, but we're also very excited about the paint because that's
I mean, as soon as I did the video showing the paint on the walls, people were emailing, "Where do I get the paint? Where do I get the paint?" I'm like, "Back up the truck. We've just mixed it. We've just put it up. We need to see how it works and how it feels." And but we believe in it so much. We spent quite a bit of money getting into the walls because we want to create an actual healing space that isn't just about the money and isn't just about this big machine. It's like just being there will heal, and we can see it. We can see it in we've got all these builders in because we're building a spa right now, and you can hear them singing and joking all day. They're
amazing.
They might watch this and go, "No, it's bloody hard work," but it's there's a great vibe to the whole place, and that's why we want to do the bath as well. And as I said, you and I, we can talk for 3, 4, 5 more episodes. We're going to have to cut this one now because we're at an hour. But if you guys watching want to get the balls, get the powders and stuff like that, I'll leave a link below. In the meantime, we've got to call the show over now because they've run out of time. But you've got to, and you're late for dinner as well. I know that.
Yeah, we are definitely late for dinner. Yeah. So, but that's okay.
I have to feed the baby.
Yes, you. You're not feeding the baby.
No. I got somebody especially for that. She's very sweet.
No, that's wonderful news, and thank you for sharing your personal stories. Thank you for sharing all that knowledge, and there's a lot more we're going to talk about in the future. Cheers, guys.
All right, thanks Mark.
We see you in episode 2.
Yep. Yeah.
See you later. Take care, everybody.
Bye.